What's happening, guys? Billy Davidson here, Davidson Pressure Washing. In this video, we're going to talk about a few things that could definitely help you increase your bottom line in your business when it comes to pressure washing and parking line striping. So make sure y'all stay towards the end of the video. And if you hadn't done so, please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified the next time we upload a video. In this video, we also going to talk about a contest that we have upcoming, and you may be that lucky person to get this chance. So make sure you stay towards the end of the video about that. We're going to talk about that in a little more detail. Something really fun and interesting. I've been looking forward to doing this for a couple months. So we're going to do the contest and tell you how you all can enter in, and it might be quite interesting. Also, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to 3 people that are students of the All Pro Parking Lot Striping course that are doing incredible. So we have Jeff out in Destin, Florida. He actually got the striping course from our website less than 10 days ago and is already encroaching on an estimate worth over $15,000, and he's got pretty good chances of getting it. This is obviously his first one. He's not even really completed the All Pro Parking Lot Striping course. It's about 11 hours of video online training in that, and he's already starting to land some of these big jobs, over $10,000, $15,000. And I think this is going to be a good lead up for him to doing some much bigger jobs in the next few months. We also have Mr. Jason out in Monroe, Louisiana. Now, he's been on the channel before. Y'all have all seen him. We love Jason. He's an incredible, motivated guy, very ambitious. And he's out in a small town somewhere north of Louisiana, south of Monroe, Louisiana. Really small town, but he's already landing some pretty good side striping jobs and making tens of thousands of dollars in the process. And this is in a tiny town. In addition, he has a full-time job as well. So he's doing this basically Friday, Saturday, and Sundays when weather's permitting. And he's already making tens of thousands of dollars. And he's been in the course for a few months himself, really starting to gear up and getting things going. So shout out to Jason. If y'all want to leave a comment down in the section below telling Jason such a good job, because he is a really hard-working gentleman. And we've met with him a couple of times here, and we've had him on the channel. Really proud of what he's doing out there in northern part of Louisiana. And guys, last but not least, we've also had this next gentleman on the channel a couple of times, Mr. Jared. He's down in the New Orleans area, and he services other parts around that area. He's been in the striping course a little over a year now. Now, this gentleman is doing multiple 6 figures each year in striping. And also, he's not doing it quite full-time yet. He's got a couple other things going on, but he is actually killing it in the striping. I actually just got off the phone with him a little while earlier. We are constantly in communication with him because he's doing some really big jobs. And also, he's starting to sub some work from us. So if you are a student of the All Pro Parking Lot Striping course, and we do get a job out in your area that we can't get to, or perhaps we're too busy or it's too far, a lot of times we will work with you as a partner in getting some of those contracts landed, getting that money coming into you. And obviously we make a little bit off of it. But at the end of the day, this can really provide a great way of living for you and your family. Also, guys, I want to mention I've had a bit of a sinus head cold type thing going on. So if I sound a little bit nasal, please forgive me. But I'm really trying to get this video out there, push it to you all. So I know this is the perfect time of the year to start implementing some of the notes I have here on this paper. It's really going to help you out. So don't forget to hit that like button. And again, before we get into the meat of our topic of conversation in this video, again, we're going to be doing a contest. I am going to talk about it here shortly. It's easy to join. It's free to join. No purchase necessary. All the above. And this could be fun. It's something I'm really looking forward to. And we're going to be talking about that here shortly. The next part of my conversation here with you today may step on a few toes. And I know it. I know it when I was writing my notes for it. I was like, hey, this may, kind of rub somebody the wrong way. But at the end of the day, this is just tough love. And, I just feel that I need to tell you about this situation that I've encountered with some of our students and some of the other people that we talk to on the phone when we mentor them, because this really can affect your bottom line and affect how many jobs you get per month or per week, depending on how many you're estimating. And it is about your phone. Guys, we all know our cell phone stays on us 24 hours a day. Usually we have our cell phone number on our marketing material. We have our cell phone on our Google listing, on our Facebook listings, on our yard signs. It is what it is. Years ago, we had landlines. Now 90% of us use cell phones for business, and that's fine. It's absolutely great. It's very convenient. Customer calls. You don't have to run back to the office like we did back in the day to check the messages. It's right here in your cell phone. But what I'm finding with especially some of my all-pro parking lot striping students, if we need to talk on a phone and we have a scheduled phone call, sometimes I give them a call and it goes to their voicemail, which is fine. They're busy, whatever's going on. But I'm getting these students that don't have a voicemail that's set up. And I completely understand that sometimes it's difficult to hear your own voice. Trust me, I watch my own videos when I'm editing them. And yeah, it's weird making a, voice stuff. We don't, the sound of our voice gets weird. We hear it a different way than what it really is. I get that, but you really need to have a voicemail that is set up and efficient. So what I mean by that, whenever a customer calls you, they don't need to just get your phone number and some automated message that you're not available. They need to hear your voice. Basically, my voicemail is, hey, you reached Billy Davison with Davison Pressure Washing Painting. Sorry I missed your phone call, but if you would leave a message, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if it is an emergency or you want to get in touch with me faster, please send a text message to this number you just called. And that's basically how my voicemail is set up. And I'm letting that potential customer know that, hey, I am who I am. Leave a message. I'm going to get back with you. In addition to that, you can send me a text message as well. Let that customer know in that voicemail. Now, if you feel kind of strange about leaving voicemails, because I've talked to a couple students, I'm like, hey, your voicemail is not set up. It's not optimized. All I'm getting is a phone number and an automated message saying you're not available. That's not good. That's not cool. You're going to lose some customers like that. So set that voicemail up. If you feel uncomfortable about setting your own voicemail up, there are paid services out there that can set that voicemail up where it's basically a professional script that they're reading, and that is better than nothing. At least there is something there that potential customer is going to hear other than an automated system reading out your phone number and saying this number is not available. So set up that voicemail. Let that customer know that you're going to return their calls as soon as you can. In addition, they can send you a text message. I used to have my email address in my voicemail. I'm on the fence about that. It's fine if you do that. It's fine if you don't. And I've had customers email me too. So you got to realize some of these customers would like to communicate in different ways. We have customers that everything's through regular phone calls. We have other customers that only text. We have other commercial clients that only email. I've been working for these people for years. I've never met them in person. I've never heard their voice. It only comes through email. So having those different ways of communication with your customer is going to be really important. If you don't have a voicemail set up, oftentimes it doesn't look very professional. And to add to this whole conversation about your voicemail, when there have been times I have called one of my students, and I'm not picking on anyone in particularly, it is what it is. Like I said, if I step on some toes, I apologize up front. But, this is kind of a tough love conversation. Whenever you setting up your voicemail, you need to be in a really nice, quiet place, not in your vehicle, not going down the highway. You can try to call your voicemail maybe from a friend's number or your spouse's number and hear how your voice sounds and the background noise. Again, you want to be in a nice, quiet place where you can leave a very good audio message for your potential customers to hear, and that's really important, especially if you mention in your business name and your phone number and even your email address. This needs to be very well set up and audible to that potential customer. If it's a lot of background noise, road noise, machinery noise, it's difficult for that customer to hear, and it's kind of a turnoff to them. So again, set up that voicemail. Even if you got to have a pro do it with a script, maybe somewhere that you can hire someone to do it, maybe even a family member, that's totally cool. But just make sure it's a good, clean, crisp voicemail with very little background noise. Now that brings me to my second point. Once you do talk to your customer, and I'm guilty of it, but I try not to do this, but I've been guilty of it in the past. When I do call a customer back, I don't want a bunch of background noise on the phone. I want to be able to think clearly. I want to be able to think quickly on my feet, on the fly. If we're driving and there's a lot of background noise and we come in traffic and stuff like that, sometimes it's difficult to think quickly on your feet and to answer questions efficiently, especially if you got multiple things going on. So I highly recommend whenever you call these customers back, if you're in your vehicle, pull over. If you're on a job site, go get in your vehicle. That will help out with the background noise. And that brings me to my other point. Whenever you're talking to these customers, having that good, clean conversation with them is going to set that little bit of a relationship and expectations with that customer. Because sometimes there are things that your customer is going to say in that conversation that's really important. If you can't hear them and they can't hear you, that conversation is going to be awkward and you're kind of setting things off on a bad foot before you even meet your customer. So just to reiterate, set up your voicemail, have a nice, clean, crisp voicemail, short, sweet, to the point. Let them know that they can text you as well. And if you want to enter in your email address into that voicemail, do so, because some customers prefer to communicate through email. And whenever you do call that customer back, be in a nice, quiet place. Have a notepad there where you can take notes. If you're doing it on a device, that's fine too. But make sure you take notes so you can hear the conversation. Because many times in that first conversation, they're going to tell you things that are really important. And listening to your customers' needs and suggestions and requirements is very important. We have customers that call for multiple services. Sometimes they want the building pressure washed, the windows cleaned, and the parking lot restriped. So I need to be making those notes along with their address and things like that. That way I'll have a good note to go by, because many times I have multiple calls a day and sometimes it's difficult to remember which customer needed what. So you want to make those notes in addition to getting their contact information in return. In that initial conversation, we want to get a list of services that they want an estimate on, a good time to stop by. We want to get their name, their phone number, their email address, because this could be the last time you actually speak to them. So you want to get all this stuff down so you can send over the estimate whenever you get it provided and ready, worked up to send it. In addition to that, having this contact information in your notes is important because you're walking the job with it. A lot of times you're referring back to the notes, what the customer is wanting an estimate on. And if you're doing a lot of commercial work, sometimes you are approached by people that may be employed at this place, asking you what business you have doing, walking around their property with a measuring wheel. And a lot of times I pop out my note and say, hey, Mrs. Jones called. She wants this doctor's office pressure washed, an estimate on it, parking lot striping, and I have her contact information. That lets someone know that may be contacting you while you're out there walking around that you have official business there. In addition, whenever you do go to look at these jobs, you need to at least have a uniform on, a shirt or logo with your name on it, or either high visibility clothing. That kind of lets them know automatically that you have business walking around their property. And you must realize some of this commercial work that you may be doing may be places that are under security watch, like banks, credit unions, even doctor's offices, hospitals, on and on. So having these things in place lets you look professional, and it lowers the risk for any weird incidences that could happen. So now getting back to my initial point, having this voicemail set up, it's nice, clean, crisp, and easy to understand. They have multiple ways to contact you. Whenever you do call them back, you're in a nice, quiet place. You're taking very good notes, getting their contact information, a list of services that they may or want an estimate on. So you have all that information. Once you go price the job, now you have a way to send it to this customer. So we got all of that wrapped up, and that's some really good information to go with. I've been doing this for going on 29 years now, and this is what I practice daily. So now let's get to another part of our conversation that we have this afternoon. Okay, we know what to do when we get the calls. We know how to handle the calls, but now we know, we need to get these calls coming in. So several ways that you can get some of these calls, even though it may be bad weather in your area this time of the year. Right now, I'm recording this in January of 2023. It's cold and rainy outside, but I don't want to stop my marketing because I know springtime's just around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. So we always want to stay marketing our business, even in the off season. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Many times when we go put out yard signs, or we send emails, or we doing other marketing material, oftentimes it takes several weeks for this stuff to take traction. So what you're doing today in marketing usually will pay dividends 4, 6, even 8 weeks down the road. So even though it may be bad weather where you at now and it's not quite ready for the season to pop off, you need to be doing your marketing and also getting your equipment ready, because we could have an early spring. That happens a lot. We can get an early spring break and we get some great weather for 2, 3 weeks, and you can go out there and make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in those few weeks, and then it may get cold again, and then have a false start on spring. So always be prepared on your equipment and keep your marketing ongoing and steady with it. You don't have to go crazy with it during the off season, but keep that constant dribble of marketing out there. And we're going to talk about some ways that I market for very low cost. So in my parking lot striping business, I usually don't have an off season. And I know that kind of may be a little confusing. Can you stripe parking lines when it's cold, wet, and rainy outside? The answer is no. But outside is the operative word. There are tons of jobs that we do during the wintertime in a quote unquote off season, and that's inside of buildings. We stripe inside of warehouses, car dealerships, boat dealerships, you name it. There's a lot of striping we do on the interior of buildings, whether it's shipping companies in your area. If you've ever worked in a warehouse, sometimes there's miles of striping in these warehouses, where the forklifts go, where different pallets are set, safety zones, hash markings, bathroom accents. There's fire markings on the ground for fire escapes. There is tons of markings on the inside of buildings, and oftentimes this work can be done no matter if it's 3 feet of snow outside on the ground. So that being said, if you're in the parking lot striping industry, there is really no off season. We just transition from outside work to inside work, and then when the weather gets really good, we go start marketing for outside work. And now let's talk about a few ways how I market my pressure washing and parking lot striping business. So one of the key ways that I found, let's say probably over the last 4 to 6 years, is using emails to market your pressure washing or parking lot striping business. And also we can fill in a blank there of any other industry that you may in, because we got roofers, we have painters, we have housing contractors, we got flooring contractors that watch our channel, and all of this would apply to you as well. And one of those ways is a very cheap, if not free way to do it, and it's email marketing. Basically what email marketing is, and the way I teach it in the All Pro Striping course, is I find companies in my area that I feel like I might want to work for them, and I feel like they may need our services. I find their email, I follow up with phone calls, I send emails. I have a special email template that I use that's really efficient. It took me years to develop, so that may be something. If you're a student of mine, I'll send you that email template for free, because I think email marketing is a very powerful way to market your business. It's very inintrusive. It's not like you knocking on a door and in their face. They get an email, they open it, they read your services. And guess what? If they're not ready right at the time, sometimes they don't respond, but you still have their email address. You can follow up with another email 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. And if you follow up 3 or 4 times and that email is not generating any business, maybe change up your email a little bit. You have their email address so you can constantly drip on that potential customer. And many times what I do, if I send an email to a company that I really would like to land a big job, let's say it's a hospital, it may be a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 parking lot striping job. On top of that, it could be another $20,000 pressure washing job. So I'm looking at this potential job might be $75,000. Yeah, I'm going to send them an email, but also I'm going to walk in a business card at some point. But I send the email first. That kind of gets them familiar, gets them looking around, thinking about it. Maybe I send that second email before I visit in person. Then after about 2 emails, I'll go in, I find this person that I'm sending an email. I introduce myself to them, say, hey, I've sent you a couple emails over the last month or so. I want to follow up with you in person, see if there's anything that you need done. And I can't tell you how many times they be like, oh yeah, I've seen the email. I got to looking around. We need the north side of the building pressure washed. We need our gutters cleaned. And oh, by the way, the entire parking lot needs striped. Can you give us a quote on it? Now, once I'm in front of that person, that's half the battle over already. I got the guy in front of me. I got a relationship going with first name basis. I see a face, he sees a face. We can start to become friends, have that little bit of relationship going on. Maybe walk the property with them. Many times when I'm walking the property, I don't necessarily talk about the work that I'm doing exclusively. We may talk about the work. We may talk about how our favorite football team playing, the weather, what have you. So you start to build that kind of relationship when you're in front of that person, exactly finding out what their needs are, what their expectations are. And then also there's other questions that you can ask, like, where's the best water outlet to use while we pressure washing the parking lot? What about blocking off this side of the building while we striping? There is a lot of conversation that you can have with someone walking around with them. And again, they have done almost pre-met you by reading the email template. And many times in that email, I have those lists of services, so that gets them to looking around their building saying, oh, by the way, yeah, the gutters do need cleaning. We cleaned a gutter system on a hospital for $6,000. We was there a day and a half. So just think about that. No, not even running machine, just get up there, scooping the debris out the gutter. So, having those lists of services in there, following up with an in-person meeting can really net you thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, depending on which type of work or sector you're going for, if you're going for commercial or residential, there are other ways that you can market your business at really low prices. One of them is Facebook. And guys, I don't spend a lot of money on Facebook. I do a little bit. I don't think it's the end all, be all way of marketing your business, but there are some targeting ads that you can do on Facebook to kind of help net gain some of your calls coming into your company. One way, as I do it, is putting a video or some before and after pictures on Facebook and allowing our organic friends to see that over time. Many times what I like to do is put my personal phone number superimposed in that picture or embedded in that picture. That way, in case that picture gets shared around through groups or something, your phone number is always in that picture. If your phone number is in the title of it, if the picture gets shared, your phone number is lost in the sharing. But if you have your phone number in the picture, then whenever that picture gets shared, your phone number does too. Many times on Facebook, I have tons of real estate friends in my area. Not only real estate friends that may sell residential homes, but also I friend real estate agents that deal in commercial properties, which is very important. Now, the third way that I'll market a business, and it is a bit controversial, and I've talked about it before, but man, does it really work good. And again, don't forget to stay towards the end of the video. We're going to talk about this upcoming contest. So this controversial way that I do some marketing, you can do it if you want, or maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe it's a little bit too much for you and your personality, but I'm a go-getter. When I feel like there's a business out there that could use my services and I could potentially, make 40, 50, 60, $70,000, I'm going to pull out all stops to try to get in front of that customer. And the next way I'm about to explain is something that I talk to my students in the All Pro Parking Lot Striping course. And by the way, if you're not a member of the All Pro Parking Lot Striping course and you're thinking about maybe trying to get into it, I have an 11-hour online video training course with a sample contract. It has a test, it has a certification. You can check all that out at the first pinned comment, also the description down below, and also my website, BillyDavidsonVIP.com. So this third way I like to market my business, again, is a little bit iffy. You may not want to do it. I like to send snail mail. If you don't know what that is, I send a paper flyer and a letter attached to it, stapled to a business. You know, their addresses are easy enough to get. You can Google them. You can go in your local county. You can ride by and get the address. Most businesses do receive mail at that business. But what I do, I put that in an envelope. I go inside of the post office. I ask to send this piece of mail. Sometimes I got 7 or 8 of them with signature required. Now, what you're doing whenever you require a signature for a piece of mail, it may annoy somebody, but you know what? At least they're getting my information. I can send it for a couple dollars, and I know for sure whoever's signing for certified mail at a business usually is the decision maker or part of the decision making team. Again, if they sign in for certified mail, that gets their attention. They're going to anxiously open it up. They're going to see my flyer and my letter, and that's how I get in front of these bigger clients. Again, some of these clients I go after are above that $50,000 range. Kind of don't really waste my time on some of the smaller ones, but it really depends on the size of business you're running and the crew you got. If you're wanting to go after some of these smaller jobs, by all means, sending a letter with signature required is totally acceptable in my book. I think you should give it a try. I think the results you're going to get are phenomenal, and you will know exactly how well it works once you do it a few times. And there have been times that I've sent them an email and then followed up with an in-person visit. And if those two were quite, kind of unsuccessful, then I'll follow up with a certified piece of mail that they have to sign for. By that time, they've done seen me 3 or 4 times. And the next time they need a pressure washing or a parking lot striping job done, I'm probably going to be on the top of their list. So guys, we're about to get into this little contest, if that's what you want to call it. This giveaway that we're doing. Been talking about it with a couple of friends of mine and some other people to help me out with my YouTube channel. They think it's a really good idea. And so we're going to talk about that. I think it's going to be fun and real interesting. And again, before I tell you about that, go check out my website if you want to grow your pressure washing business, if you want to start a parking lot striping business, if you want to learn how to market your pressure washing or your parking lot striping business. Again, the link will be in the comment section down below and also the first pinned comment. So guys, this little contest that I've been thinking about doing, and I think we're ready to go ahead and get it done. Really excited about it. We want to find 2 people. It could be a husband and wife team, and father and son. It doesn't matter. It could be 2 separate people. We're just not sure, but the way you would enter it, again, it's free, is by leaving a comment in this video. And then we're going to just kind of randomly pick someone out of the comment section. You can leave multiple comments. Basically, before I tell you what we're going to give away, I'm going to tell you how to enter. And I'm going to tell you something else that could be important. So you can enter multiple times. You can enter 100 times. You can enter 1,000 times. You can enter 2 times. It doesn't matter how many times you want to enter. Just leave a comment and say, let's do some keyword like enter me into your contest. That way I know it's a real person. Again, you could spam it if you want, but basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to get Apex to do a random number generator. Basically, we're going to find out how many comments we got. Let's say we got 100 comments or 50 comments, whatever it is. We're going to do a random number generator, 1 through whatever that is, and then that person's going to win. And if they have 2 people that want to do it, then they will win both, the package. If they only have 1 person they bring in with them, if it's only them coming, and I'm about to tell you what we're going to do, then we'll pick a second person. But we want to do this for 2 people. And basically what we're going to do, we want to fly down, all expense paid trip. So your airfare, your hotel, that sort of thing. You'll be picked up by a limo at your hotel or the airport. And what we're going to do, we're going to just have kind of a night out, hanging out, talking shop, dinner, that sort of thing. It's going to be maybe a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour long day hanging out with us. We may go to my shop. We may look at some equipment. We may not. Just really depends on the weather. But for sure, we're going to hang out, do dinner, talk shop, go over some things about your particular business that you might want to, kind of upgrade, some advice, in-person advice, if that makes sense. But again, your flight will be paid for. If you're driving in, we'll pay for your travel expenses. Because, some people are only 2 or 3 hours away. Some people are 8 or 9 hours. So if you want to fly in, I'll pay for your flight to and from. your hotel, and my friend owns a limo service, so you'll be picked up by a limo. We'll all be in a limo, so we'll be hanging out, getting some good dinner down here in Louisiana somewhere, that sort of thing. Maybe go do some bowling, shoot some pool, hang out, maybe go to shop. It's going to be just a whole day of fun. And if you want to enter again, make sure you leave a comment. Please enter me into the contest. You will be entered in automatically. Now, if it's a husband and wife that wins, then we'll do both of y'all. We'll pay for those expenses. If it's only you, we'll pick a second person randomly at the comment section. And hopefully that's not too confusing. But I also would say as well, unless you hear from me directly, then it's a no-go. Because I know sometimes we get spammers that get in our comment section and tell you won, and we hadn't even did the draw. And we're gonna do the drawing live too, by the way, if that makes any sense. So, and that'll probably be the time frame we looking at. We travel a lot, so sometimes we can have emergency calls come up. So I'm kind of thinking it may be around the end of February or very early March. So whatever works best for whoever wins, we can kind of accommodate that flexibility. We're thinking probably doing it on a Friday night and Saturday. So we'd fly you in on Friday afternoon. You'd get your room. We'd probably meet for dinner that night. Saturday, we'd probably hang out again. Or it could be a Saturday and Sunday, whatever works best, and depending on our schedule too. But again, we thought that was something really nice that we could offer. I know there's been a lot of public, interest and people wanting to come down and meet us, and we would love to. Sometimes our time frame and their time frame just doesn't match up, so it's kind of difficult. So it's something we want to kind of plan out. Again, your flight will be paid for. If you're coming in by vehicle or car, we pay for those expenses, fuel, stuff like that, hotel, that sort of thing. All of it be paid for in advance. So I'm really excited about it. I don't know who's going to win, but I know whoever wins is going to probably be a super cool people, because I know all the guys and gals that watch our channel are incredibly awesome. We talk to a lot of you. We talk to you on the phone, text message, emails, and even in the comment section below. So y'all start leaving those comments. And again, in a couple weeks, we're going to pick somebody. We'll be in communication with whoever we pick, and then set this up. And we're going to also shoot some YouTube videos whenever you come down. We introduce you to our fans and subscribers here on YouTube. I think we're going to have an awesome time. Mention your business name, that sort of thing, so you get a little bit of publicity out of that, perhaps maybe your city name. Who knows who's going to watch these videos? Maybe one day you get a really large job off of it. So guys, anyway, I hope this video has helped. Please don't forget to hit that like button. That is really important to me. I want to see those likes go up more. Helps with my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, more importantly, don't forget to check out my website, BillyDavidsonVIP.com. If you want to become a member of the All-Pro Parking Lot Striping course, like Jeff, Jared, and Jason, start making them big bucks, go check out our videos exclusive on BillyDavidsonVIP.com. And I hope to see you in the next video.